Today, we're taking you inside the Portugal retreat for a series of real, unfiltered coaching moments. In this video, we're diving into 3 core areas: overcoming the fear of audience perception, qualifying your leads so you stop wasting time on dead-end calls, and eliminating cheap offers that steal revenue from your core programs. Let's jump straight into it.
And the thing is, if you treat the audience like friends, and what do you do with friends? You have to trust them with your secrets, you have to trust them with your point of view and what you have to share. And so there is a certain level of risk involved. You have to trust the audience to get it and to follow you, and trust them with your truth, which is very hard to do, especially as Black women, as women who have just experienced all kinds of things, right? That is a challenge. And if we can get over that challenge, you can see, like, here's what it really is trusting yourself, that I can handle whatever response I get. And there have been plenty, I've had plenty of my friends where I log on and I see my friend's name trending. And I was like, what the hell? And not for a good thing, you know? So I've texted her, I'm like, are you okay? And I mean, they dragged her for the most innocuous thing. I'm like, she said other things to, like, that she could have been dragged for. And it's like the tiniest little blip is what they will, because so sometimes you think you can predict it, you can't. But you have to trust that, like, I can handle it. And everybody will move on in 24 hours to the next drama. Because that's what the algorithm is. The algorithm is built on the drama. And you don't have to agree with everybody just because they decided they wanted to collectively drag you. Because I'm good for it. Just so you know, I still disagree with all of you. So hold that. And stay mad. You know what I'm saying? And the people who are your people will follow you, and the people who aren't will unsubscribe, and that's fine.
Okay, so my challenge is trying to duplicate myself in order to handle consultations and closing.
You want to get out of doing the sales calls?
I don't do the sales calls, but when the consultations are booked, I'm usually the person that does these consultations. So if I were to reflect on January of 2026, I would have sat down and my goal would have been for at least 30 consultations per month. And that has spiraled into almost 200 consultations per month.
Amazing. So lead gen is not a problem. But like, you solve one problem and create another. This is business, right? Like, every time. All right, so you're doing all 200 consultations per month?
Pretty much. So in order to not have that, I have to block parts of my calendar to prevent from booking.
How much are you charging for these consultations?
$97.
Okay. And then how many of them turn into clients?
Excellent question. And the closing first is needed. So I may have around 20% or so.
20% close rate.
Right.
Okay.
And that's partly because what they need can lead to something. Some of them can. Or they probably can lead to something, but probably my mindset is preventing it from leading to something else.
Okay, so you're saying some of them need you for your services that you provide. Some of them need your services and some of them don't.
Right. Or they may need future service.
Okay, what do you mean?
Okay, so let's segue into what United States immigration looks like. So there are some cases that are immediate. We can help them within a certain time frame. And then there are cases that are going to last probably a decade or 2 decades. Now, when those 2 decades persons come to me, I don't readily accept them, or they have started, don't know what is happening. So I'm clearing things up now for them so they know that they won't be hearing anything. It's not something an attorney or someone can do for them. It's just what it is right now. So instead of having them pay me to probably watch the case until the next 8 years, I decide not to do that. So I have some of these people that I probably can think of a way I can help them that will generate some form of income without exploiting.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, okay, got it. And can you easily identify these folks? Like, could you say, I help these kinds of folks or people with these types of cases so that they don't book the consultation?
So that probably means that I need to look at the way I do my lives. So when I do my TikTok lives, pretty much by the end of a live, you'll recognize that about 20,000 people or so would have been privy to this live. They're asking their varying questions, and some of these same people are on it, which I will help them with an answer.
Right.
And the answer is not necessarily one that will tell them that they don't need a consultation. It's enough that they know that I know what I'm doing, but not enough for them to probably run to do something for themselves.
Oh, I don't think this has to do with TikTok Lives. I think you have to say, this is who I work with.
Okay.
Book a consultation if this is your situation. If this is not your situation, I'm not going to be able to help you, so don't book a consultation.
Right. So that would mean I need to change the way I probably do my TikTok.
Yeah.
Right.
Because basically what's happening is you're not qualifying your leads enough.
Right.
That's why your close rate is 20%.
Right.
One, you're not charging enough for the consultation. It needs to be higher.
Okay.
Because that alone will cull the list as well. Like when you have basically a lot of lead gen, right, but you don't have enough time to meet all that need, you want to make sure the time that you do have on your calendar is with qualified leads. So people who could buy from you, so a lot of people who are booking time on your calendar cannot buy from you. So that's the problem. If you remove them from the list, you could fill those spots with people who can buy from you, and that alone is going to make your close rate go up. And then also, I would raise the price on the consultation. Charging more, being very specific about who you can help. Okay, so it is two things. Just those two things is going to make sure that your calendar gets filled with the right people. So I would solve for that first.
Okay.
Because otherwise, you could hire someone to take on these consultations, and it's going to become a problem math-wise, right? Okay. Because they're not going to close enough to cover their cost of having, like, for example, if you decide to hire another attorney, you might be able to hire a paralegal, depends on what's happening, probably an attorney you need for this. So that's why, like, let's fix the system as much as possible first. Then let's hire somebody to run an optimized system. Tell us what your question or challenge is.
Yeah, so my challenge is I want to grow my membership. So I have a monthly membership with nurse educators, and I started it about 3 years ago, and I have about 70 members. We meet twice a month. We're also accredited, so that means they get contact hours. That's a requirement for all nurses. And I just haven't seen growth happen. So we meet live twice a month.
Okay, and how much is it?
It's $39 a month or $429 a year.
And then do you have other offers?
Yes, so that's my other concern.
What's the other offers?
So the other offer is CNE in 60 days. So certification as a nurse educator in 60 days. And so that one is a very structured model that really supports them to get their certification.
Okay.
And ideally, the membership was designed for contact hours to keep their certification.
Got it. And so how much is the CNE?
That's $1,000.
For the whole course?
For the program.
Tell me about the program.
So the program is a 6-week program. So we meet every week for an hour and a half for 6 weeks, and they receive the textbooks in the mail. So there's nothing else they have to buy.
And how many people do you have doing that?
I used to only do it 3 times a year, but now we do it every other month.
So you do
new cohort every other month.
So 6 cohorts a year. Mm-hmm. Okay. And how many people do you have in each cohort?
Well, it depends. So the max usually is about 25. If we do have a university that wants to enroll their faculty, then that's their cohort. Sometimes we'll open up a second one, but usually it's around 10 to 25.
So 10 to 25. And what's the pipeline for that? Where do they come from?
Some are word of mouth because we have a YouTube channel and we have testimonials on our YouTube channel. And then others are from faculty, like when we meet them at conferences and they decide that they want to commit to achieving their CNE in 60 days. But then we also have a webinar. Usually I offer that every other month. And so it's a free webinar, 30 to 45 minutes. And I talk about what it means to get certified as a nurse educator.
Okay.
And what the steps are.
And then anything else?
We have a self-paced course as well.
And what's that? Is that the same CNE in 60 days but self-paced?
Not quite, because they don't get any resources other than access to the recordings.
Okay. What is the self-paced course for?
So the self-paced course is basically, it's the content so you can get certified, but there's no guidance. So it's 6 modules, and it's them doing it themselves. So they don't meet with the cohort, they don't get the support, they don't get the textbooks.
Okay, and how much is that one?
$529.
And how many people do that one?
Usually 30 people a month will enroll in the self-paced course.
You're cannibalizing your offer.
I know. Which one? Which one do you think I'm cannibalizing?
The
membership?
Yeah, the live one. Well, the membership is another issue. We'll get to that one. Okay, so basically what I'm seeing is your marketing is mainly YouTube channel and meeting people at conferences. Mm-hmm. And from there, people come to a webinar
And then from the webinar, they go into either the C&E in 60 days or the self-paced course. The C&E in 60 days is too low. And then you also are making it, like, if they can choose a cheaper option, they will, even if it's not good for them. Because you know what I mean? Like, how many people actually complete DIY courses?
Right, exactly.
So,
right.
I think this needs to go away. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me answer your question first. For every $529 purchase you're making, you're stealing $480 or $470 from yourself because they would have just bought the C&E in 60 days, like the full course with the support. So if this was not an option, they would have bought this. And $529 is so close to it. If you can buy $529, you can buy $1,000. And also $1,000 is too low. I'm like, I got a lot of bad news. But the good news is you're about to make money if you follow this advice. You have 10 to 25 people doing the full course that you are there doing all this work, community, all of that. And then you got 30 people a month in the self-paced. Those 30 people would be in here and they would get wins. They would create so much energy in the community if those 30 people were in there.
I think the challenge is that's not what I hear from the faculty. So
Yes.
the faculty say, I can't afford the C&E in 60 days course.
Right, yes.
And so that's why they choose the self-paced. And that's no touch.
They choose it because it's available. If it wasn't there, they would tell you they can't afford the $1,000 one, and then they would do it anyway, which is what they're doing, right? They're saying they can't afford it, and then they're making a purchase. Everyone says they can't afford it. Not everyone can't afford it. They just like to say it. It's their go-to reason. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how many times somebody has told me they can't afford my program, and then I see them like book a retreat to Tahiti with like another coach? That was like the retreat for a week was like 25 grand. Meanwhile, they could have coached with me all year for that price. You know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, you can't afford it, you know? It's just language people turn around. We can't build our business models around it. Because otherwise we wind up undervaluing our service. Because what's the result that they get from the C&E in 60 days?
Nationally, the pass rate is 74% for nurse educators that actually pass the certification exam. In our C&E in 60 days program, it's 97 to 100%.
Wow.
That is why they buy the program.
I mean, exactly, full stop.
And I think that what I hear from...
So they can't afford not to if they want to become a C&E, because does being a certified nurse educator allow them to make more money?
No.
What does it do for them?
It's really about a personal goal that they have, or some colleges do require them to be certified if they want to reach full professor or tenure.
Got it. So it
But
is
that's
required.
not everybody.
Right.
That's less than 2% of colleges.
Okay. So then the other people who are motivated to do this, why are they motivated?
Personal, really a personal goal.
Okay.
And that's why I did it.
Okay.
So it took me 8 years to get certified because I didn't have a community, I didn't know where to start, and the high failure rate.
Wow.
Yeah.
It took you 8 years. Like,
Well, life happened. But
yeah.
yeah.
But life is happening for them too.
Yeah, and that's why C&E in 60 days I think is so successful.
Again, this goes away, all 30 people, you're going to instantly double what you're making here in the C&E in 60 days if you get rid of this. I personally promise you going to get that same 30. I'm telling you, we actually just create so much. We're like, no, if we raise the price even $5, no one's going to buy it. When I tell you, who here has raised their prices and didn't have a single problem selling it?
It took me a while to listen to her, but I did.
Well, actually, the C&E in 60 days, I have tripled what it was initially. And
Thank God. Kudos to you for doing that.
Oh, it's because of you. I mean, that's why I did it. Yeah, that's why I did it.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now
yeah.
again.
I know. Well, the self-paced course I've tripled as well.
Yes.
I mean, when I first started my company in 2021, it was $25.
Oh my God.
And I cried. I mean, it went from free to $25.
Oh my
And
God.
I cried the first $25. When I saw that transaction come through, I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to pay for my intellectual property.
Yes, they are.
And then I just skyrocketed. Yeah. So, but I do get questions all the time because my self-paced course, quote unquote, is the most expensive. Because there's 2 other companies that offer a self-paced course and it's half the price. Well, I said
But are they you?
it's value. I mean, it's the value that you get.
Hello. Do you know how many times people come to me and they're like, that's expensive for a mastermind? And I'm like, you get what you pay for.
That's what I said. I just told
And
the dean
buy it or
that
don't.
2 weeks ago.
And I literally am detached. Buy it or don't.
Right,
You know, it's
right.
truly how I feel because I know what I'm delivering.
Absolutely.
So, and I think you know what you're delivering as well, which is a 100% pass rate, a squad of homies. You know what I'm saying? Like, And your story.
Yeah.
Right? That it was 8 years. Like, that's the story. Are you telling that story in the webinar?
All the time.
Okay,
yes.
thank God. All day long,
All
tell
day
that story.
long. Yes.
On the YouTube channel, when you meet people at conferences.
Yes. People requote me at conferences when they meet me. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's, I'll just tell you this. Like, let's say you made me the CEO of your business. This is what I would do. Okay. I would get rid of the self-paced course immediately. I would make the C&E in 60 days. I would take this membership that you came in with that question of 70 members. I would make this one offer.
Okay.
So because once they get the C&E, which you have 100% pass rate, they're all going to pass, and then they're going to need the contact hours.
Right.
So I literally would just make it one offer. You do your 60 days, you pass the exam, and then you stay in the program and you do your contact hours, and we get together. So like the community continues. And then this is what I would do.
Okay.
You're probably not gonna want to do it, but this is what I would do.
I'm listening.
The C&E in 60 days, the ongoing membership, and the annual retreat would be one offer. And I would package it all together. I would package it all together and probably do it for like minimum. Honestly, I would probably do it for 10 grand, but even like 5 grand would be better for everything that you're providing to them. Like, you're giving them so much value. You're helping them, achieve a professional goal.
Right.
You're giving them community, which they need, right? With like-minded people, and you're giving them a way to like bond together, you know? And that kind of thing is going to help them professionally beyond just this certification. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it has more value. Who here thinks it has more value than she's charging for? This is what your community is reflecting to you. So just take that in. Because I think it's important that we, especially as Black women, we're always going to have institutions and organizations and people want to pay us less. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to do. And we have to model to them, I'm not cheap and I'm not your bargain basement option. I'm not your budget option. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get very fucking comfortable paying me. And then also you're modeling that for all of these people, right? So that they go in and, just like Cynthia was saying, like, they go in and negotiate their contracts.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they go in and ask for more. And having those conversations with them as well. I think it's really important that we all claim our value. And it's not even just about the money, it's also about what it's signaling,
Right.
Because we have a shitty systemic system, and I think we have to counteract that, And we exist, obviously, in the real world, like we have to be able to do the things, but I also think we have to fight it as well, And it doesn't have to be all at once, but at least start moving in that direction. And you are, I mean, you've raised the price significantly, which is amazing, but I want to challenge you to do it again. So I think a way to baby step this is, like, at a minimum, so to answer your question, how do I grow my membership? Just make it automatic, like include it in this and make it a year-long program. So let's say they paid, either $500, which is the $529 that more people buy, right? So let's say they paid $500 as their initial payment, that's their deposit, and then they did a monthly payment throughout the year for the membership. So you can solve this with a payment plan.
Right. Well, that's how I have solved it.
Yes.
Because initially I only had about maybe 5. And then once I offered a payment plan, then I saw, my enrollment increase dramatically.
What's the payment plan?
So it's 3 payments and I leave it at the same price. I don't charge extra.
Okay. But you're also doing the financing. And if people drop off, you got to go chase them, which costs you time, which means it's costing you money. So you have to account for that. And you want to give people an incentive to pay you up front. Personally, I feel like it needs to be like a minimum $2,500 because it's the community that it's not just what you're teaching them.
Right.
It's also
right.
the community is also being able to hang with you. And that is what people are craving right now. So like $2,500 for the year for the whole thing, $500 up front. And then, let's say 10 payments of $200 a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they're in this community all year. And then you can say, who wants to come to the annual retreat? And you're probably going to wind up with more than 20 people at the retreat.
Would.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they've asked me. Yeah. They've asked me those 2 things. Is a monthly membership included in the C&E in 60 days? And can I come to the annual retreat?
Exactly. Like, even if you put it all together at your current prices, like, that would be $2,000. I'm saying bump it up at least a little bit more as a baby step in that direction. But $500 deposit so that you're getting paid because the coursework is up front. So I want you to get paid for that coursework.
work up front, but $500 deposit and then $200 a month for 10 months.
Okay, I like that. So 1 year passes, what about the membership after that?
Then they continue to pay $200 a month if they want to stay.
Just the membership?
Yeah.
Okay.
And trust me, by then they're going to be obsessed with it and not going to want to leave because that's where their people are. Well, here's what happens. You keep your job too long and you don't outsource and delegate early enough. So it takes a long time to do it and you start getting burnt out from the job you were doing because you have to progress in your career as well. Even as founders and CEOs, we keep doing the same stuff. We get exhausted and bored with it, and then we lose the desire. And we're on the cusp of making a lot of money and freeing up a ton of our time. So we have to push through that part, and we have to fight our nature to overwork. And that's really what it is. It's like the mindset shift and the discomfort of I'm letting go, and y'all are gonna figure it out, and I'm not touching it. And it's like, I'll look at it, it's wrong. Okay, so this is what I would change. Give it back. I'm not gonna make the changes. Like, there's very little I execute. The only reason I'm busy right now is because I'm writing a book, multiple books. That's why we've been busy. But other than that, there's plenty of places that I have to show up in the business. It's not like I do nothing. Part of it is recharging myself so that I am available to do really powerful, impactful coaching. So it's like I can't wear myself down in the weeds and the details. And also too, I take back other people's jobs every time I do that. And then I lose trust with my team. And then they're like, do you like this? Do you like that? They're like, move it an inch. Do you like it? What about now? I need another review, right? Like, fuck you, no. Here's my 10% download, go do 80%, I'll give you a review. And now I don't even do that, right? Like leadership team members are doing a review and they know what the standard is. Pretty much everything in this business happens without me. Damn near everything. Like there's very, very little that requires me. And that's why I go away for 4 days and like at the end of the month, I'm gonna disappear for a week. They're not looking for me because they know what they need to do. And their thing is there's a few team members who every now and then they get like a little like, I just wanna make sure I have your feedback before I move forward, and I'm like, I trust you to get to that. Even before I leave, I'm like, trust yourself. You got this. I believe in you. I trust you with this business. I trust you with your domain. You actually know better than me because that is the truth. They know all the details. They know their people. They know the clients, right? They know what needs to get done. When I insert myself, and I did it last night. Somebody asked me a question and I was like, here's a quick answer. And I was like, delete. Because I'm like, no, I don't even have all the context. Why am I making this decision? No, delete. You're going to make it. I'm not available, so you're going to make it. You saw it, right? You saw me write it and then delete it?
Why is she awake? She was like, posted 6 minutes ago. And I was like, she said she was not going to do that. I'm just like watching it.
Wow. And then it disappeared?
It was not there.
Because I caught myself. Because it's a pattern, right? And it's like, this is a small thing that I still have left, right? But like, you gotta start. Because if you don't start, you're gonna burn out before you get to freedom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like delaying. You're gonna stop this business from growing, and you might light a match one day and burn it all down because you just can't take it anymore. And it's your fault because you held on to it when you needed to let go. And here's the thing, I do not have this problem with men. Every male client I have ever coached, they are like, who could take this now, today, yesterday, 3 weeks ago, right? Like they are getting this off of their plate instantly. But like as women, we think we have to hold everything, we have to be responsible for everything. It's exhausting. It's so limited. And the thing is, your job is to see the future for the business. And you can't see it when you're just in it all day, every day. The team needs you to stay above this. If you enjoyed this video, then here's what you need to do next. Join me for the Hello 7 AI Accelerator. Spend 2 weeks with me and I'm gonna show you how to become a power user of Claude. I'm gonna show you how to use AI, not just as a chatbot, but as your assistant, where it is doing work for you while you are sleeping. You're gonna leave this training knowing how to train Claude to get you clients and serve you up leads every single day. You're gonna learn how to use it to manage your inbox and handle all of your scheduling. This is an advantage that we need, especially as entrepreneurs from historically excluded backgrounds. This is a leg up, a huge advantage that's gonna allow you to grow your business exponentially without spending a lot of capital to do it. So join me for this AI accelerator and let's get you to that million a whole lot faster. Go to hello7.co/AI accelerator and sign up now.